Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Fisher Football Focus. I am your host, Kyle Lumsden. This past weekend, the Cardinals faced Empire 8 foe Ithaca in a battle for the Empire 8 conference title. Now, let's take a look at the highlights. With the Empire 8 title on the line, Tyler Fenty and the Cardinals took on the Ithaca Bombers. It was Fisher, ranked 14th in the nation, to score first off this 31-yard field goal by Greg Lorman. In the second quarter, with Fisher's offense driving, running back James Chambers coughed up the fumble and the Bombers would recover it. This set up a Matt Rottenecker 37-yard field goal to tie the game up at 3 with 4 minutes to play in the second quarter. On the Cardinals' next possession, it was Lorman again, kicking it through the uprights, giving Fisher a 6-3 lead with 18 seconds left in the half. In those 18 seconds, Ithaca was able to get into field goal range for Rottenecker, who was able to drill this 50-yard field goal to tie the game up at 6, heading into the break. In the third quarter, Ithaca's quarterback Tom Dempsey would be flushed out of the pocket and he would scramble into the end zone for the touchdown. On the extra point attempt for the Bombers, the Cardinals would block it and Paul Lavelle would scoop it up and run it back 98 yards for 2 points. But Ithaca still led 12-8. The Bombers would use a little trickery on this play as Dempsey would hand it off to wide receiver Vito Buffoli, who found Andrew Tabbert wide open in the end zone for the score. This gave Ithaca a 19-8 lead. Down the stretch, turnovers proved costly for the Cardinals, as Fisher had 5 turnovers in the game, 3 of which were interceptions thrown by Fenty, as Ithaca held on to win 19-8. Stay with us here on Fisher Football Focus as we have head football coach Paul Vosberg in the studio to go over what led to Saturday's defeat.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
I'd now like to welcome head football coach Paul Vosberg. Thanks for being here, Coach.
Thanks for having me again.
Tough loss this past Saturday, especially because of the implications of that game. Despite outgaining them, 394-213, probably not going to win very many games turning the ball over 5 times, though.
No, that was the key statistic, yeah. When you looked at all the other statistics in the game and stats in the game and so on, you would have thought Fisher won the football game. But when you turn it over 5 times, and to Ithaca's credit, when we did turn the ball over, they capitalized on it. They really never drove the field on our defense. Our defense played outstanding in that, but they got a couple short fields and were able to make a couple field goals, and then they got their touchdowns, and so, and that was their characteristic coming into the game, was that Ithaca was a very opportunistic team, and we knew that, but unfortunately we had too many turnovers this game.
And you talk about that touchdown they scored, that trick play. Well, what was kind of like, I guess, the defensive breakdown, or was this just a great offensive play they drew up?
No, we were really in the right coverage on that play. We made a mistake, and it was costly because we were in man coverage and we had that kid covered, and unfortunately our corner decided to take a peek at the quarterback, and when he did that, he lost his man. Yeah. Man coverage is a scenario where you've got to, your eyes have only got to be on the man, and they weren't, and unfortunately we didn't make too many mistakes defensively during the game. When you go back and you look at the film, Coach Fox's group really played outstanding football and didn't make very many mistakes. But that was one of them. And had we not made that, they may have had to kick another field goal at that point. But that didn't happen.
Yep. And there's one point at the end of the first half, you're up 6-3 with 18 seconds left, and then a 50-yard field goal for Ithaca for the end of the first to tie the game up at half. Do you really feel like that one maybe was a turning point in the game?
No, I thought that that helped them. Okay, that was all right. But then we came out the second half and we started out with a good drive, moving the football and so on and so forth. We had a couple first downs, but then we fumbled the football and gave them a short field. Yeah. To me, that was probably the biggest The first turnover we had led to a field goal. This turnover led to a touchdown.
Right.
So with a short field. So I think that might have been the biggest one. If we don't do that, and say we don't turn the ball over at that time, we're driving the ball. Maybe we go down and get the first score of the second half.
Right. That changes momentum.
Momentum changes, but that didn't happen.
Yep. And can you touch base a little bit on the wide receiver Nathan Nagolian? It seemed like he was a little limited with an injury. Was that a huge factor in the game?
Yeah, whenever you lose one of your best players, and we did lose Nathan, we thought he might be able to go, and he tried to go and so on, but we had to eventually pull him because he just couldn't run with his ankle injury and so on. That anytime you lose a starter, it's going to affect you, but that's not the reason we lost. I mean, we still got enough good players out there, and it showed. I mean, we had almost 400 yards total offense against a team that wasn't giving up very many yards.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think anybody else has put up 400 yards against, or close to 400 yards against Ithaca the way we did, and we thought we could have even got more, and so on and so forth. But it didn't work out on Saturday for us.
And after the game, you guys were out on the field in a huddle. What did you tell your players?
Well, I just told them, that I thought they gave a great effort. They played hard for 60 minutes. It just didn't work out. And I've told them this before. Sometimes you can do everything right, and it doesn't guarantee you success.
Yeah.
It only guarantees you that your best opportunity for success is there, but it may not happen. Well, that happened on Saturday. And we still have a shot to at least tie for the conference championship. And one of our big goals is to win the Empire 8. Well, we can't win it outright, but we can at least have a share of the title and so on. So we've got one more opportunity to at least meet part of that goal and so on. And our number one goal always is to be the best football team we can become. So we got another week in which to work to become even a better football team.
Yep. And you talked about that opportunity, and that opportunity comes this Saturday as you travel to Alfred University. So expectations, and what are you looking for as you play at Alfred University?
Alfred's another very good football team. I mean, everybody in this Empire 8 is very good, and that's the thing we talk about is how good this conference is, because they did beat a good Salisbury team. But then on the same token, they turned around and lost to a Hartwick team. Right. So scores don't always indicate how good a team is. But this is a very good football team. They got an outstanding quarterback who runs their offense and does a great job. And we're going to have our hands full down in Alfred, New York.
And I guess sell me a little bit. If you were to win on Saturday, why should the committee select your team as an at-large bid?
Well, I think for a couple of reasons. One, our strength of schedule is very good. It's up there again. It was 10th, I think, on Saturday. And I think it could climb a little bit this weekend again on that. So we do have some history. Mm-hmm. The Empire 8 has history. It's a good conference. We will still be tied for the title in this conference. And it's like I told some of the guys. They look at, we did lose to Ithaca. Okay, yeah, but the conference championship isn't decided by one game. It's a whole schedule of games. There were 8 games. Everybody was going to play 8 games in conference, and whoever wins the most of 8 games is going to be crowned champion. Well, 2 of us could have that. So we're a conference champion in one of the best conferences in the country. Yeah. So that might be a good reason to look at us too.
Well, I hope you guys get the job done on Saturday, and we'll leave it up to the committee's hands after that. Absolutely. So thank you for being on the show, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Coming up next on the show, we have senior safety Ryan Ballard, so stay with us.
This financial advisor is being accused of committing one of the largest investment frauds in the history of the United States.
I guess we're not going to Aspen. That's fine. You see, I like tennis balls. He likes insider trading. So he's going to jail and I'm going to a shelter. And no, they're not the same thing. Shelters are for good pets that want to be adopted. Jails are for criminals. I've done nothing. Uh-oh. Okay, I stole a cheeseburger once. I'm a dog.
Welcome back to the show. I'd now like to welcome Ryan. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me again.
Before the game on Saturday, Fisher honored 28 seniors, you being one of them. Mm-hmm. Who did you have share that experience with you before that game, and why, and I guess what was that like?
I had my parents out there in the field with me, and then my sister, my brother-in-law, my unborn nephew or niece, which was great news. My brother was there, and I had a couple of my friends with my buddy Tommy's parents there too, and it was just good to have them there because he's always been with me ever since like the start of my career. I played football with Tommy. My buddy Pat was also there, and of course my dad's my coach, my youth coach. So and they've always been to every single game since I was 6 years old. So it's just great to have them there. One of my last games. So.
Right. It's nice to have a family that supported you all the way up through to now where you are today.
That's right. Yep.
It's always nice to have them along. And was it a little bit difficult to refocus after that can be? I've been a part of a senior ceremony before the game, and it can get emotional. So was it a little bit difficult to refocus, or?
I pretty much had my mind on the game.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Coach tried to slow it down or speed it up, actually, the process up this year a little bit, because he even talked about it. It could be a little bit of distraction. The most important thing was trying to win an Empire 8 title Saturday. So we tried to speed it up, and even after my name got called, I was doing stretches and stuff like that out there in the field. Well, they were going because I was the first one, so I had my mind on the game the whole time.
Well, that's good. And can you touch base a little bit about your time here at the Fisher football program and what's that been like?
Well, it's my 5th year, was a red shirt my sophomore year, so I've been in the program a long time, and it's been a really great ride. This place has become my home for the last 5 years. It's a family. I mean, I came to watch football here when I was like 12 years old. My cousin was playing back in 2000, so it was a family then, and then I actually became a part of the family, and I can't really imagine my life without it.
Right. Wow, that's very inspirational and very touching. And let's talk a little bit about the game now. Your defense really played well throughout the game. Early on, how did you get a feel for how your defense was playing?
I think we were playing very well. We knew that I think they were second offense in the Empire 8, and they tried to run the ball early, and we kept stopping them. I don't think they had a first down until the second quarter. So the running game wasn't really working well for them, and they weren't really getting too much on passing game. They weren't going downfield. They were kind of short passes. We were able to come up and tackle. So I think we're doing really well.
Yeah, and there was a number of times that I was watching on the sideline where the coaches that your offense would maybe go a 3 and out, and then don't worry, our defense will stop them. Our defense will stop them, and you guys did. What does that say about your defense?
I think it's just indicative of the confidence that our coaching staff across the board, offensive and defensive guys, and even just the players, offensive and defensive guys, the whole year has had in our defense. We're the number 1 defense in the Empire 8. We don't really let up a ton of yards at all, not a lot of points. Even if maybe there's a turnover, we get put in bad field position. We've had a couple of goal line stops against Buffalo State. Right. Pretty much no matter what the situation is, we're a confident group, and that we're going to get the job done no matter what.
Yep. And after the game, you guys were out there on the field. What was going through your mind?
I was disappointed. I know that when I was a freshman, we had a chance to win an Empire 8 title, and then we ended up losing the last game of the season to Springfield. And I remember how I felt that game, and I was a backup. I was a second string freshman year, and it hurt then. And then I was thinking about how bad it felt for the seniors, and then that's how I actually felt.
Right.
Saturday was, it's my senior year, and we had a shot to win the Empire 8 title, which has never been done before. And it was disappointing, no doubt about it. But, I mean, I'm like to be a positive person. I knew that, we still had a shot. We could still win a share of the title. And you never know after that. So our main focus is Alfred.
That's right. And speaking of Alfred, now you've turned the page. What is the mindset of your team heading into this weekend's game?
Well, we know that they have a good team. They got a good quarterback. They got some good weapons. And they're well coached, very well coached. And we just know that we have to play our game. When we play our game, nobody's going to beat us. I mean, this past weekend we didn't really play our game. We turned the ball over a lot, and we let up a touchdown on a trick play, maybe lack of just a breakdown in discipline. But we know that when we actually do our job and line up and do the things that we're supposed to do, that not many people can beat us, not many teams can beat us. So we're just going to try and play our game, and hopefully we'll come away with a win.
That'd be nice. And then your fate awaits, I guess, for the committee afterwards. So I want to say good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Go out with a bang, and good luck. And I hope you guys advance to the NCAA tournament as well. But get the job done on Saturday.
Thank you. We will.
Coming up next, we have wide receiver Rob Riggio. So don't go away.
You knew what you wanted to do in life before anyone. Let us help you pursue those hopes and dreams at the Wegmans School of Pharmacy. Discover the world within at St. John Fisher College.
Welcome back to Fisher Football Focus. I'd now like to welcome Rob to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So Rob, before the game this past Saturday, you, along with 27 other seniors, were honored before the game. Who was there to share that moment with you, and what was it like?
It was pretty surreal. I mean, I had both my parents there, all three of my other siblings, and my grandfather made it out too. So it's weird. It's the same group I had high school 4 years ago, senior day. So it's weird how it flies by, but it was awesome. It was great to be honored like that in front of our teammates and all our fans.
Yeah, and what was it like, I guess, after the ceremony? You know, it's nice to be with your family and remembering all the times you were here, you know, your career throughout Fisher football. Was it hard to kind of refocus after that, you know, the ceremony and all that?
I think a lot of the guys, we were kind of just trying to get through it because we knew we had the task at hand, and it was really, we were all focused throughout the week even. There was just a high level of focus and stuff, so senior day didn't really affect us, and they got through it pretty quick for us too.
Yeah, and you being a senior, I guess let's touch base a little bit on your career here at Fisher, and what has that been like?
It's been awesome. I mean, we like to say it's like an experience you can't get in any other sport, any other group, anything you do. I've made some of the best friends of my life here, and we won a lot of games and had a lot of fun. So
yeah. Well, unfortunately, one of the games you were unable to win was this past weekend against Ithaca. A lot of implications with that game. You guys were able to outgain them, 394 yards to 213 in total yards. But offensively, what were some of the problems to put points up on the board?
Well, obviously, it starts with the turnovers. Anytime you turn the ball over 5 times, it's going to take opportunities for points away, and really it's about finishing. We'd move the ball pretty well, get inside the 50 and stuff, but whether it's turnovers, penalties, anything drive killers like that, you can't put points up and it puts your defense back on the field in tougher spots.
Yeah, and what I noticed, and we touched base a little bit before in the beginning of the show, was the wide receiver Nathan Nagolian was limited in that game. How did him not playing as much as he normally does, did that affect the offense at all? Anytime
you lose a player of Nathan's ability, it definitely affects the offense a little bit, but we like to think our receivers are one of our deepest positions, and when someone goes down, we got a guy behind him ready to step up. So
you as well. You pick up that role and step up. So how have you stepped up in a role that's, you know, fill in the gaps?
Yeah, we elevate, whether we're slots or outsides. We got to be able to move either way, switch around, just know the plays, execute, and I think a lot of us guys did that. We stepped up.
So now, what can you think that you could take away from that game that were some positives? You know, yes, you did lose, but there must be something that you could take away from that game that you could improve on, or, you know, that you could take away from that.
Well, first off, hats off to our defense because they played an outstanding game, and we put them in some tough spots, and they still got it done for us. Offensively, like I said before, we were able to move the football pretty well and stuff. Yeah. We just got to make sure we take care of the football, and protect it, and we'd win. We'll be good. Yeah,
and heading into this Saturday, it's the last regular season matchup. You're headed to Alfred University. Like you said, you protect the football better, but, you know, what are your expectations heading into that one?
Well, we know what we have to do. We don't have a choice. It's do or die for us now. So we got to have a great week of practice and just go out there and really execute, take care of everything we have to do, and come out with the victory.
And unfortunately, it's, you know, I guess you can't really control your own destiny. Even if you do win, there is still that slight chance that you don't make the NCAA tournament. What is that feeling like, to know that your fate is, I guess, in the committee's hands?
We talked about it all year. One of our things was take it, and that goes back to we've been here before with the putting it in their hands, and we kind of wanted to avoid that this year. So we were going to go out and take it ourselves, and we're back to a familiar position for us.
Right.
So we know as long as we just handle what we can control at this point, leave it up to the committee. We just got to make a great last impression on them, and I think our history shows that when they've let us in at 8-2 at large, they've made the right choice. So hopefully.
Exactly. And let's say you were to win this weekend, and you were unable to make the tournament. What will you look back on this season, and what will you 20 years from now, my senior year, what will you say to, your kids or your family members and your friends?
Well, we have a great football team. We absolutely do. And I guess immediately looking back on it, you'd think of 2 things, Salisbury and Ithaca.
Yeah.
But 20 years from now, I mean, there's a bunch of great guys on this team, and we fought hard. We're still fighting, and I think we still have another chance to do some special things. So
Exactly. Well, good luck to you this weekend. I hope special things work out for you, and you guys can win and make the NCAA tournament, because everyone from here at Fisher and would really love to see you guys advance. So thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate it.
thank you for having me.
To wrap up the show, I'd like to thank all the guests who appeared today, as well as you viewers out there tuned in to watch. This Saturday, the Cardinals will travel to Alfred University for their final regular season game. With a win, Fisher can stay alive and hopes to receive an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament. The show couldn't end without an inspirational quote, so here's one from Donald Trump. "Sometimes by losing a battle, you find a new way to win the war." See you next time on Fisher Football Focus.